The evolution of generative AI and LLMs has been breathtaking in both their pace and progress, capturing the public's imagination like no technology before it. But today's guest thinks that the space is going to go through even more disruption and innovation as existing approaches start to hit their limits. G'day and welcome to the AI Forecast. I'm your host, Paul Muller. Join me along with industry-leading companies and experts as we explore the past, the present and the future of data and AI in the enterprise every week. Proudly brought to you by the folks at Cloudera. Well, today's guest serves as the Dean of the College of Business and Technology at Concordia University St Paul, where he leads programs in AI and data science. He's also co-founder and CTO of Codename 37, a company developing next generation solutions for AI fabrics. Welcome to the podcast, Jake Trippel.
Thanks for having me, man. We'll have
it's
some
great
fun.
having you on.
Yeah.
Hey, before we jump into your thoughts about the evolution of architectures for AI, I just wanted to do something we do at the beginning of every podcast. We call it the Fast Four.
Yeah.
You ready to do this?
I'm ready. Rock on, man.
Rock on. Here we go. All right, first question, Jake. What would people who know you best, I'm talking people who know you really well, would say is your superpower?
Oh, that's a great question. Probably that I'm lame because I lead the most boring lifestyle ever. I'm consult all day, teach all night, and they're just like, I'm pretty dull, I suppose. Like, so they'd probably say my work ethic.
Right,
I don't have the ability to shut it off.
That is
and it's very rarely. I'm that person who's like, it's 3 a.m., really? Oh, I should probably go to sleep now.
How do you find the time, seriously? How do you maintain stamina?
I guess I'm just so motivated to help others. That's why I love teaching. I view consulting and teaching as the exact same thing. I'm educating, I'm trying to help people. I love helping organizations, I love helping individuals. And what motivates me right now is what's going on in the world today, this transformational time, right? And just trying to help people as much as I can.
That's a perfect segue. I need to slip you a couple of bucks for that one.
Please,
because
good.
But the next question I always ask is, what technology, in your opinion, has had the most impact you get to pick the era. You can go all the way back to the beginning of time if you like.
Sadly, when I started my career, my first computer at 3M company was a dumb terminal. So I'm coming from the mainframe era, okay? And to see in my entire career, to see the rise of the PC, the rise of the internet, the financial crisis, which I'll just throw that one in there, which was a bizarre time. The rise of mobile, the rise of cloud. Now here comes the big one. This transformational technology is doesn't matter the industry. Manufacturing, healthcare, aviation, just doesn't matter. We're all headed to this highly automated, highly intelligent, a space that has to deliver rock star experiences both internally and externally.
Well, let's talk about, we talk about business all the time on this show and what AI is going to do for everyone's business. But what would you like to see AI automate in your future?
Well, you're talking to someone who has, I'm an owner in multiple consulting firms in addition to Codename 37, right? And to date, I already have 100 AI employees. Doesn't that feel weird to say that? Isn't that just crazy? I have almost 100 AI employees already. Bot systems, bot frameworks, doing a variety of tasks for us. These are that I'm talking to you right now. My bots are busy working. It's the coolest time in the world to start a business with. It's just the low capital that's necessary, but now that we can create these things. Like in education, we don't have enough time, money, or resources for anything. Now we can create resources. We can create this capability. We can actually help bring balance to professors and others who are working 80, 100-hour weeks. Yeah.
But I've got to ask the question, what would you like to see AI automate for you in your future? You've already got all this stuff happening. I mean, where can you go from here? What's left?
Where can't we go? Where can't we go? You know what I mean? So, it's like, I'll hop around a little bit, right? And for education, just for example, we've been talking about personalization since the dawn of time. How can a teacher in a classroom with diverse sets of skill sets in the classroom, you have advanced students, you have students who are struggling and everything in between, and how can you rapidly in real time adjust content to meet the needs of the student, help them move them along? It's at our fingertips now. It's a grasp. Same thing in corporations. Well, what if corporations or what if the enterprise or governments doesn't matter your skill set, we can automatically train anyone who walks in the door, but we're now going to look at you, we're going to see if you're cool, if you got a good attitude, if you got whatever, but that we can reskill anyone. Now that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for any enterprise, for any organization, right? Sorry, I kind of went off whatever. But
No,
it's
I
just
love
such
it.
an exciting
That
time.
may be the longest fast four we've ever done.
Sorry, man.
No, I'm into it. I'm into it. We can keep doing this all day. It's fun. Last one for you though in the fast four is in terms of someone who works with data on a daily basis. What are some of the hacks, best practices, tips or tricks that you use to help you get the most out of what you do with data?
Understand that large language models are not the answer for everything. AI is a big world. That's where large language models are awesome for some things, but they're really bad for others. So as we talk about going through data, that's where people have to understand the power of machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, which is the guts of the other two. The ability to, how can I say it, to develop models or use existing models out there to your needs and to your use cases to rapidly get through data at an instant. That's the skill set of our time right now.
So let's get on to the topic of, I guess, the changing nature of AI and data architectures, which sounds a little nerdy, but I guess has some real business impact. Tell us about, I guess, what we've seen in the past, some of its shortcomings, and why we need to be thinking about things like memory meshes and other technologies looking to the future.
It's kind of the journey we've been on, right? So we decided to build the enterprise on all these platforms. It was a decision that was made a long time ago, right? We built in cloud. We still have stuff on-prem. We have all these big SaaS applications, right? We got these cool things we're doing, but the enterprise is now built on 4 to 9 different platforms, depending on the industry. We went through the digital transformation era, right? And one of the goals of the digital transformation era was tear down all silos, tear down all walls, right? It's like no more silos, no more whatever. That was the challenge with data. We stayed in data silos because that's how our platforms were architected and that's how data was organized. Then we tried to do a bunch of integrations. We tried to do all these app integration engines. We tried to find nifty ways, but what happened was we created a spaghetti mess, pulling, ELT, ETL, system to system to system. It became a mess with over time. And then you have consultants like me who are trying to help organizations, global organizations, unravel that mess, if you will. Fast forward to today, the challenge is now these organizations are incented to keep us in silos because now comes AI data silos, right? The data's still in silos, and that's where the power of cloud, that's why we're proud to be a Cloudera partner. That's the why behind it, a unified data platform. Bring your data together. You can do so much more with it. It can unleash you from being in those data silos. But here comes the AI data silos. Now imagine that same problem except amplified. I got AI agents up the kazoo, awesome, but it's only working my data within my silo. How limiting? How limiting, right? People are going to want more, and that's where they're going to want a lot more, and they're going to want their agents to be able to actually work together and talk together and so on for the first time. But how do you do that if your data is in silos? But to get to this data mesh state, it's going to require a transformational change, and that's why Cloudera is a cool solution that can help folks do that.
So let's talk a bit about the mess that we're in and how we get out of it, because I don't think there's an organization that I've met that doesn't say, look, I've got technical debt, I'm running a series of legacy systems that we just can't get off for whatever reason.
Sacred cows, they're
everywhere. I mean, literally the people who wrote them have died. I mean, I work with banks who literally, they're like, the COBOL in this system was written by people who are no longer on the planet.
It still works though.
And it's still,
right?
And that's
still
the
works.
point though, right? Gartner's old definition, what is a legacy system? Something that works, right?
Got to give those developers credit, man. It works
exactly.
after like
and
30, 40 years.
And so there's a reluctance, especially if it's a core system, to try and lift and shift it. You've got a sprawling data estate. How do organizations, in your opinion and experience, pragmatically start to move from where they've been to where they're going? How do they clean that up? Is there a mechanism by which they can do it without breaking?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. That's a big loaded question. So I'll try to pull it apart a little bit.
Yeah, please.
So you're 3 decades in, and typically there's a reason why. I mean, we still see AS400s out there.
Yeah, right.
You're right. Yep. And it works. You got to give IBM credit, man. I mean, we've done work. We put AS400 in Azure. I never thought in my career I'd even what? Who would ask for that? And why? But I totally get the criticality to their operations. The challenge that these organizations have, though, and what we look at, is how much capital are you expending? Because the compounding effect of this technical debt, you can keep kicking the can down the road year after year, decade after decade. The cost is only going to grow for you to get off. You're going to have to take the jump at some point.
Well, there's cost financially, but there's also
100%.
the lack of ability to respond to change, because it tends to slow down your response. You can't deploy new apps because you're carrying all this technical debt, right?
Yeah, but now at least you have options. That's what's cool about the unified, I guess you want to say unified data era, if you will. We can take the data out and we can do a lot more with it than we ever have before. We have a lot more options to do that. And so instead of, God, think of these, we've all been in, for those of us who have been in tech for so long, we've all been involved in those engagements of, we're going to merge 4 ERPs. I mean, almost shoot me now, right? It's like, oh my God, you can just feel the stress that we're going to go way over budget. It's just, there's so many traps in that, and it's so expensive, and the goals are not going to be met. It's really, really tough. But now at least you have options. Between Cloudera, unified data platforms, I can get my data out, and now I can still do things with it. And maybe I can slowly deprecate it over time and typically everyone hits the wall. We can't maintain it anymore. We don't have the skill sets anymore. Okay, we're down to 3 people who
what do you do?
maintain this thing. Get your data out, right? Start the process to evolve and so on. But now SaaS is going away.
Okay,
right?
That's a news flash.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so SaaS is going away, but we're all going to be going into this new, applications are going to become bots. Keyboards and mice are going away. So as we talk about Cobalt, Fortran, all these other things, it's like, well, wait a minute. With that data set, we can now create a new in parallel on the fly. And in terms of the data sets, we can almost adopt its capability. Think about that. We can take that original code base, refactor what we've learned from it, what we like from it, because it's embedded in our operations, and we can start to move towards a new form factor, bot-based or something else, in parallel. So giving organizations time, so it's not what usually happens as the rip-off a Band-Aid approach. As long as we have access to the data and continual access to the data, we can now create any type of experience, you name it, that we want. So now at least organizations have an option, because this rip the Band-Aid off, when we reach a pivotal point, is so painful.
So let's talk, options are good, but options can be scary sometimes, because sometimes it feels like choosing is losing.
Good point.
Cloud versus on-prem, what are you seeing with your existing clients today, and what's your advice to them as they're looking to deploy new workloads?
We are seeing a massive migration back to on-prem. Couldn't believe it, never would have predicted that. Yeah.
Why?
As these organizations are doing more model development, training, and so on, the cloud cost model is just too expensive. It's too expensive. We have seen multiple industries and folks basically say, we're coming back. We're actually going back to data centers. We're going back to this investment. As they look at their futures, especially when it comes to model training and the development investments in like NVIDIA architectures and infrastructures, they're like, yep, that did the math. On-prem is the better way to go. And I have not met a CFO who's like, we're going to be talking to those teams. We're going to be spending how much a month training these models or doing these pieces? It's like, we're going to make this investment. We're going to depreciate it over the next 5 years.
Is that particular industries or sizes of organizations, or is it across the board? I'm curious.
Medical device, financial services. Yeah, we're seeing, I can't say across the board, but several. Yeah, medical device, aviation in some respects, but medical device, I'm out of Minnesota and we have a big medical device industry and so on, but it's a combination of the two. But it's typically a hybrid infrastructure, but for particular workloads, especially in this space, when we're training and developing models, it's way more cost effective to do it on-prem.
So one of the challenges as you start to think about bringing things back on-prem though is, you previously outsourced, you've lost a lot of muscle memory, let's call it that. Does that make sense to you what I'm saying?
Makes total sense, yeah.
So
but they missed the blinking lights, man. They missed the wires. And that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, but that's my point though, is the people who did miss it have possibly left, right? So how can I reshore, I'll use that word, reshore back on premises and do it in a responsible way? Do I have to do it by myself, or do I need to bring in an outsourcing partner? Is there a middle ground there? What's the best way to bring a workload back in?
Yeah, I find the skill sets equally transferable now, because just like we learned how to, whether we're using a Terraform or whatever we were doing, right? We learned how to provision architecture via code in the cloud, right? Well, we can do the same thing on-prem, right? We can and call them mini clouds, call them cloud on-prem, call them what you want. And we have to also talk about high performance compute, because I think that's organizations, we're seeing a lot of movement towards organizations start to build high performance compute clusters for the first time. They want that burst capability. They want to do scenarios. They want to do that cutting edge development, depending on the industry. It's pretty cool. It's a cool time.
One of the things I find difficult about this industry personally, because I'm not a data professional, it's not my day-to-day job, is just keeping up with all of the emerging tools and frameworks that we see. Are there any particular ones that you see being of interest to you that people should be keeping an eye on?
Wow. There are many, but I mean, here's the core of it though. We're all trying to do a very similar thing. We all want to be able to predict the future. So we're trying to develop, we're trying to develop models, and we're trying to develop fast ways to organize qualitative and quantitative data sources. But the key is we're trying to blend those things together, meaning we're trying to blend qualitative and quantitative data sets at a pace and at a size I can't even fathom in most days, right? How do we get to attribution, association, correlation, right? How do we develop models across our use cases to predict our sales, predict customer satisfaction, predict the success of a product launch? I mean, take your pick. We're trying to find all those wild card factors that can influence that, and we're trying to grab as much data as we can. So even I'll swear I'll answer your question about the tools, but even more importantly, we're also finding that what is the right data sets that will influence these types of things. So it's not even just the tool, there's so many great tools that are out there, right? That allow us to parse data sets, Cloudera being one of them, and one of my favorites, right? But at the same time, what is the right, I have thousands of options in terms of data sets I could use to solve these problems. You probably need about 7, and that's the trick. How do you use the right tools that help you find the right data sets that's going to get you to your outcome at the end of the day? It is easy to find all these cool databases, all these cool things, and all these cool capabilities that help you parse all this fun stuff. And I think people have their preferences for different reasons. But you have to have the place. That's why I'm such a Cloudera fan. You have to have a place to bring it all together. I need the playground. And Cloudera gives me the ultimate playground as a data scientist, as an AI researcher, and as an engineer. I have my complete playground where I can innovate, I can research, I can bring data sets in any form together, raw, I can run my medallion architectures. I have my place where I can do all of it. The challenge is most organizations have 5 different tools, and now you're talking about moving data around, and it's mind-numbing.
Are you okay if we shift to to academia?
Please.
So one of the things that I find, I suppose, staggering at the moment with the rate of change we're seeing is the change in how people are learning. What are you seeing in terms of the academic world, and how do we prepare the workforce of the future, in your opinion?
How can I start? Sorry, I'm going to go off for an hour. No, I'm just kidding. People don't cancel.
No, really though, because it does seem like it's not the education system of last decade even.
There's a part of me that wants to say it's about time that education get a little kick, if you will. We've been kind of corporate America and governments around the world have been signaling, hey, we need you. You're not delivering us what we need, and now more than ever before, it's like, okay, now you're really not delivering us what we need. The challenge is what we need changed like last month. I'm exaggerating, but it feels that way sometimes. But AI, people have to remember, AI is an amplifier, and it's going to really amplify the good, but it's really going to amplify the bad. So as an educator, I'm excited and freaked out at the exact same time. In this era, we're going to create more geniuses than any other time in the history of the world over. Because if people start to use AI tools and capabilities, they will learn, and hopefully they even start to realize they can learn 10, 20 times faster than they ever have before. Our inputs are inefficient. Hearing, sight, sound, don't get me wrong, they're awesome. I'm not advocating that they go away. But I mean, are they inefficient? Think of how we were taught to learn as we're, perusing books and looking for themes in our data. Then we start to read for clarity. With AI, I built models that can read books in 3 seconds flat. I don't know about you, I can't even open the cover in 3 seconds flat. But think about the opportunity. I can now immerse myself in the data and create any type of learning experience I want, adapt it to my learning style, visual, auditory. I can do anything I want. What an opportunity. And you can consume more information than any other time in history. That's the amplifier on the good side. The bad side, students are also choosing, I don't have to do anything. I can let AI do all my work, and I'm not going to learn anything. That's the part that scares me. Are people going to choose to do both? Unfortunately, yes. But in education, there's been a debate since the dawn of ChatGPT in November of 2022. You heard about the bans. You got universities, we're not allowing that in here. Then they changed their mind 3 months later. It's how do you teach these students across, I don't care if you're in accounting, I don't care if you're an AI engineer, data scientist, marketer. You have to have these skills to use these tools and get through these data sets quickly. But the skill set of our time is, I hope you like learning. You're going to be doing it every single day of the rest of your career. You're just going to be, it's so much is going to change. And we haven't even talked about quantum yet. I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy.
I
think we're going to, just the show's producers and myself were talking before, we think we'll do a little series on quantum because that's going to be a game changer.
It's coming quick.
A whole nother
Just
world.
as we get comfortable with AI, that's going to come, and then it's like, okay, new programming languages, everything's going to change.
Who says we're comfortable? Hey, if people are interested in learning more about your work, your point of view, where can they go to learn more?
You can connect with us at Codename 37. Please seek me out on LinkedIn. Again, Jake Trippel, connect with me. Come hang out, right? Come talk to me. I love, whether you're a student, whether you're an executive, or whatever, love helping people.
I think that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you all.
Great having you here. Well, that's a wrap. If you've got any thoughts, drop them into the comments section below or hit up Cloudera on LinkedIn using the handle @Cloudera. We've got a great array of guests lined up. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss another drop. Thank you again to the amazing folks at Cloudera for hosting another episode of the AI Forecast. And thanks again for listening in. We'll see you all next week, everyone.